passionate was this Wollongong crowd then? Full voice for the anthem. Certainly right behind their Australian Diamonds. As we've mentioned, just one test played here prior to this one. It was way back in 2013. And a familiar name, Paige Hadley, debuted here in Wollongong, also against South Africa, as well as the sides come together in their final huddles. Last words to be said. Both sides going with a different starting seven. But Kim, I want to address the actual first quarter for the Australian Diamonds, because they have won just one of them in their past 7 games. Now, what does that tell us about the way they enter into games? I mean, they would be well aware of that stat, wouldn't they? What do you think they need to do a little bit differently to maybe change that?
Yeah, they'd be searching for answers on that one, that's for sure. Whenever you have a slow start, it's generally about changing the warm-up and changing the way that you're approaching the game. And that might be from the training from earlier, captains training earlier in the day, all the way through. So those girls will be thinking about how they get themselves up for this game, and they're going to need to have a really good first quarter. We know what the Proteas are able to bring, and this starting lineup right now, you have a look at Conan, Austin, Watson, Price, Weston, Clow and Bruce, and that backhand, gosh, that looks like fire. It looks like there's going to be long, rangy arms, and the Proteas are going to have their hands full for that one.
Yeah, not many combos there actually playing the Suncorp Super Netball together. So it is always a challenge in that regard too, to settle with a new combo, one you don't regularly play with. And of course, Stacey Marinkovic will be the first one to tell you that they get little time together, and they were desperate coming into this series to finally play someone else other than themselves in at training camp. So the ball has been delivered to South Africa. It'll be Rafil Wayne Kitsap that gets us underway here in Test 2 in Wollongong. And they'll be looking to eclipse that equal height score of 53 in Test 1. And that is a good way to do it. Had it not been overcooked, the plan is to go direct.
Well, the vision, just to have a look at it, is exactly what you want, but it's just the execution that was just not there. As we see a huge hit up on Briette.
Needless to say, probably not the first one to hit the floorboards in a game like this. Penalty inside the circle against Saint-Marie Visser. SSN fans would know her from a brief interlude at the Adelaide Thunderbirds this season. Price. Well, all pressure on Watson, couldn't get free. She's got it now. Straight off to Austin, who looks direct in for Conan. How about that placement, Kim? We could see that clearly from here.
Well, and that was a set play from the start. Conan not just getting it over the line on it, but you could see that Austin was starting deep in that circle. It was all about Watson getting that first space so that there was a little bit of depth in that second.
Well, the hands-on defence comes from Joey Weston. You talked about that extra height in at wing defence, and that's why it's there. Conan, well, that's an interesting sign, Kim. She just missed the first shot under the post. That was in striking range, didn't even look to the post.
Yeah, and we've seen this a little bit with Conan, and we have been quite critical of her going to post, but it is just getting that confidence underneath her belt. Austin has to play her into this game a little bit and just make sure that she's feeling fairly confident to continue out there.
What you got to do is get the ball and shoot it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not shy away from it to get yourself feeling comfortable. And she's managed to sink one after a couple of misses. Vandenberg, similar thing, just a little short now, finds the bottom of the net.
Oh, and that is just great prep work from Austin. It was 3 dodges just to set that up. Watson just sitting back nicely, waiting for that second phase depth. Beautiful attack from the Aussies.
Yeah, no issue finding Conan early days, is there? Vandermerve, the drive down court, Visser. Nketsa. Chawani, well, she was there, takes the front drive, but it draws the defence and Vandenberg opens up.
And that's the sort of plays that we were talking about, getting depth, being brave to bring Bruce out and have a look, then have the vision to go straight to post. Brilliant work from the Proteas.
Big swing. Watson to Price, Conan. Oh, found the radar now, sunk the last 3 and done it effortlessly. As the brains trust, Stacey Marinkovic, Nicole Richardson. via the floorboards. The captain, Shalwani, picks it up. Visser. Up the gut, straight to Vandenberg, through the hands. Big pressure coming from Courtney Bruce. Price. Austin. Conan. Another one falls short.
Oh, Van der Merwe all over it, just getting onto those loose pickups. We know that they were well behind. Oz had 13 pickups to 4 in the last game for South Africa, so there's 1 to their name already.
Visser, quick release, Van der Merwe. Another one finds Brett. Of course, that's Nicole Talliard. You recognise the face but not the name. Again, the hands over. Yeah, Joe Weston. Proving to be a pest. But have a look at the height difference there between Weston and Shalwani.
And it's about moving your feet. I heard Maddie Brown talk about it last week. And just that they have to be able to get around their hands to get the ball off. So that is just attacking 101. If you've got tall hands, move the angles, try different things.
Well, have a look at the height difference. We just saw it on screen there. Shalwani is the shortest player on the court, standing at 163. Joe Weston has got 23 centimetres on it, Kim, putting every single one of them to use in this first quarter. Clow, she wanted to let it rip to Conan, thought better of it. Watson, Price, Conan now. Oh, it looks pretty flawless early for the Australian Diamonds, doesn't it? And that was the big question around, would they put their foot down and move away, or would the Proteas be able to close the gap? Well, I think we see early on what the Diamonds plan on doing.
Well, and what you've got in both Watson and Jamie Lee Price are just strong movers that will commit to their attack end. And then you've got the balance of Austin, who's got the smarts, and same with Conan. So this is a beautiful lineup in the attack end.
And Kath, I'm just looking at this Australian defence end, and I'm loving what they're doing in terms of the one-on-one work. And obviously there's big hands over out the front, but what I think they're doing an excellent job of is their positioning in terms of being able to push each other wide, and that's a great intercept from Visser coming through to now enable those errors to come.
Yeah, thanks, Dill. Lots going on court, isn't there? Look at the push and shove for Vandenberg and Clow. Well, that won't be their last meeting. Get used to each other, ladies. It's going to be a season of it next year when the Smiths and the Thunderbirds take on each other. Vandenberg, her third of the game. Price, Conan. Weston. Price again. Austin.
And that's a beautiful feed. And what Diamonds are doing is working with space. The width of what they're playing with is just opening up different angles for Conan under the post. Have a look at this replay. And that's the perfect spot for Austin to be, just out on that dead space on the top of the circle.
Van der Merwe. Talliard is a long way up, Talliard. Bria, apologies, a long way up court. Probably need her down a little deeper. Great pass, Weston finds Price. Conan in and out of the hands in seconds. And just like that, the Diamonds, another on the board. We'll have a look at that, up by 5 already. Not even halfway through this first quarter. Austin. Watson.
Yeah, and the speed of how it's getting down there is now starting to bring the whistle, which the Proteas have to be a little bit more careful with what they're doing, make sure that they're not getting whistled out of the game, go and have a crack at something outside the circle.
Oh, do you think Jenny Van Dyke is thinking about some potential changes in defence to try and slow this up? Look at that last 10 for the Australian Diamonds.
I can see some movement on the South African bench, and Mate is looking to come on. Ketzer has been a little bit expensive with 2 of those long ball turnovers, so I can expect to see a change then soon.
Brett. Well, a couple of misses coming from her as well. That's her second attempt for 2 misses. Keep possession, South Africa. And there is that change you were talking about, Dill. Of course, if you thought game 1 went fast the other night, it did. There are no timeouts with the World Netball rules. No rolling substitutions, just the tactical changes, that being one of them that we've just seen with Taylor Mate entering at centre for the Proteas.
And this is a good change. We saw what she was capable of in that first test. She brings a lot of spice. She's able to give the ball, a little costly in turnovers, so she'll have to rein that in. But up against Jamie Lee Price, she'll know that she's out there, that's for sure.
Well, some big rebounds going the way of South Africa, and that's important because the Diamonds will not miss many.
And a great swing there from Chalani. Just opening up the space on the other side, but there was just no one else offering anything. Briett needs to get involved.
Yeah, I agree. That's the position that they're missing out, a little bit of punch for South Africa. And they've got a couple of great options there. Maseko started the other night. Gulbani came on. Sinks one though. That'll settle the nerves a little bit for Briett.
Yes, and that's the play right there. Oh no. Footwork. It was a beautiful setup, first, second phase. That's what we were talking about in the pre-game, is that having those setups on centre passes so it's efficient.
Centre pass conversion down for South Africa, just at 67% in game one. Nothing wrong with the feeds coming from the Australian Diamonds though. Izzy Watson finds one. Here's that ball work, so sharp, and a footwork call coming. I mean, it was so fast I missed the footwork call myself. Diamonds respond and they do it, as only the Diamonds can in blistering fashion, now up by 6.
And there's the same play. It's the first, second phase on the inside, creating that depth on top of circle. Bruce cannot go for that because it's too quick.
Oh, they've got to stay in touch here, the Proteas. It was 14 apiece in the opening quarter, test 1. Austin. 5 from 7, Kira Austin. Van der Merwe, Chalani. Briett, the strong drive forward, really pulls the penalty there.
And the Aussies changed up their centre pass defence then, based on those last 2 centre passes that got through quite quickly. You could see them drop off and try to implement a box. Probably not super effective and something they'll continue to do.
Well, South Africa was smart. They all got off the line to make sure that it went through the back, created space over the top of that little wall that they set up. So well done to the Proteas.
Oh, a couple of long, hard balls for the Diamonds. Opening up space beautifully. Conant balances the big split into the sunk shot. 13. Well, they sat at 14 in the opening quarter of the Diamonds. Game 1. The vision good from Briett.
And again, it's the drive from Chalani to go deep. Bring Bruce out, have a crack at it.
Well, Courtney Bruce actually turned straight to Jamie Lee Price and formed a box with her hands and said, aren't we doing that? So it might have been a little bit of miscommunication on that centre pass. Jamie Lee Price just sliding across the baseline.
Bruce just then going 1-1, back on one-on-one. Making sure it was very clear on that centre pass.
And you can see the immediate impact that one-on-one does, particularly when they can get them wide. South Africa can't be throwing ball from wide channel to wide channel and hoping someone's not going to pick it off.
It's also just the change-up, isn't it, Dill? It's something different. They look down, they see something different from what they saw moments ago.
Yeah, for sure. And then it forces the attacking team to do something different as well. And that's when that doubt can come in, or that error is forced based on that change-up of defence.
Briett, top of the circle. Finds Mate.
Yeah, give that straight away.
The placement's not there, though, is it? It's the same side that Sarah Clow is on, so Vandenberg under enormous pressure.
Yeah, and I was more thinking Briett at the front. Bounce it to her, allow her to be the playmaker once they get it in the circle.
Oh, both players out the front, and Visser all over that one. Oh, South Africa would love to score here and get this gap back to 4. Oh, well, another opportunity that the speed has brought them undone. First a stepping call and now an offensive contact.
And we talked about Van Wyk not starting in this game, but Visser, 3 intercepts to start the game. She's been critical in keeping in touch with this Diamond side at the moment.
Well, sport for defence, aren't they? Really are. What will Jenny Van Dyke do at the quarter time? And some hops on the defence of the shot too. Well, here it is. You can see Bria trying to sneak under Courtney Bruce and protect the shot.
Don't need to do it.
The ball placement again, for me, can be a little better. Vandenberg is taking them though, and that's important because there's only 5 in it. Wouldn't they love a turnover here, the Proteas? Who are you going to get it for them? Well, the tip was from Briett, so...
Oh, wow.
Bit of a ping-pong match for a minute.
Obstruction keeper, where you are. Substitution goal defence, both players on the same penalty. Yes.
So both players on the same penalty. Heard the call loud and clear. Australia take another one, sitting at 16. A minute left in the opening quarter. Test 2 here in Wollongong. Vandenberg strong on the take. A longer shot. Not a drama at all for her. Now sitting at 91% for the first 15. 10 turnovers though in one quarter.
I was just going to say that. It's just not good enough when you have a look at where they're all sitting as well.
Well, I don't think the Aussies will be happy with 5 either. Most people try to keep it 10 across the whole game. So the fact that there's 10 in the first 15, needless to say, I think there'll be some changes come. There's another one.
Yeah. And it is little moments like a step, attacking, offensive contact. Just then, you know, the replay ball, it's just little things that the Diamonds will just eat alive.
Well, and they've done exactly that, haven't they? They've scored off that one. They've now got the centre pass to follow. Jamie Lee Price, the smarts to hold on to it. So they will keep the centre pass when we come back at the start of the second quarter. Well, there it is, the first quarter done and dusted. The Australian Diamonds putting the foot down at the second half, and it is 18-11.
Served with a dollop of good
to throw into the mix, but great to hear that she's keeping in touch with the environment. As she said, to make sure she's across it when she needs to be. Let's have a quick chat about some changes made. Not surprising, one's in defence for the Proteas, Kim.
Yeah, have a look at Van Wyk. Comes in at that wing defence. I think this is a great move. We know that she's a human backpack, so just making sure that she minimises what Watson is doing out there is going to be important. But interestingly, we heard Jenny Van Dyke just in that quarter time break absolutely spray the Proteas. And what she said is, why is my most experienced players making the most mistakes? You're going to stay out there and you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, love that.
Love that.
Absolutely. I firstly love the spray, but I love the opportunity to be able to stay out there and fix it. You don't often hear that, do you, when they know there's cameras there? Not turning away from this challenge, are they, the Proteas? Well, as the one slips through the fingers of Vandenberg. Aussie's strong on the rebound. There she is, Jenny Van Dyke. And she looks frustrated, doesn't she?
She does. And just even in that play, Vandenberg needed to be stronger. She knew the ball was up in the air. They were off balance. Put your body on the line and take that ball.
Price balancing on 1 foot. Visser, do you know what is great too, though, is with the changes made defensively for the Proteas, they've taken off their most experienced in Vandermerva because it was Visser that was performing in the first quarter. So leave her out there and adjust around it. Vandenberg up the middle, out of the circle. Briett. Charwaney goes via the floorboards. Back to Briett. Sitting on just 1 from 3. Takes her second.
And that was a much more streamlined approach to the circle then. There was a short option, a long option. Vandenberg's exit out of the circle. It eliminated that cross-court play that's really causing havoc for the South African team.
Well, and smart from Watson there. Just get her body in line with Visser's running path. Sets the screen. Austin under the post by herself.
Britt strong on the centre pass. Mate, Vandenberg,
Great ball
Jalweni.
speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Swung, and it did with speed, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's just the angles, creating different angles. That triangle, as we know the Aussies do so well. Proteas just as well. Oh, wow.
And there's your response.
The shoulder pass. The top of the circle, my goodness. You just can't beat a shoulder pass, especially when it nails where it needs to go, much like Catherine Cox back in her day. Have a look here at the replay. There it is. School of Cox, I'd say.
Oh, the tip. Watson can't keep herself in play, though. Falls out of court. Jalweni, little touch to Britt. Back to the top of the circle. Oh, well, it's another coach killer, isn't it? They're racking up for Coach Jenny Van Dyke. Well, she was really upset by the fact that they let themselves down in just one quarter in the first test. That was the second one. And she'll be hoping that they can stay in touch now. They've had another quarter like that. That can be the first. Put it to bed.
Well, for mine, I'm looking at Jalweni and just, you know, she's getting really frustrated out there. She's walking. Her body language is saying otherwise. So as the captain, she really needs to step up and make sure that the girls around her feel like it's time to push.
Again, Western gets the tip on. Britt demanding a little bit more of that front space, and if she can start to do that, it'll take a little bit of pressure off Vandenberg, who's been doing majority of the heavy lifting for them to start this game. Clow. Watson. Conan out. Not unusual. Watson again.
Have a look at Price and Mate. I am loving it. Both giving as good as it gets. But Mate has to stay in the game mentally. Jamie Lee Price, we know she can do this all day.
Yeah, she will do it all day too, won't she? Well, Clow caught a long way from home here. Look at the smarts of Jamie Lee Price, though. Straight on to Britt to try and keep her out of the circle. Vandenberg, a little short, strong on the rebound. Sat third for rebounds in the UK Super League this year. And that's in attack and defence. Impressive stuff.
Hey, there it is. That's the defensive pickup that they needed. This was coming for the last couple of centre passes. Lots of pressure in the front space. They had to go back.
Well, this is where they really struggled the other night and already looked over the mess. There's the work on the replay from Britt.
Yeah, well, a penalty for I'm not quite certain if it was a warning.
As an advanced penalty for
there you go.
deliberate
Thank you,
delay.
Dylan.
Courtney just went out with those hands and obstructed.
Yeah.
A shame for South Africa there not to convert that, particularly after that good work on centre pass to be able to stop the Australian tack line getting down.
Well, and looking at the game to goal percentage, sitting at 22%, the Proteas.
Which is a real shame because their game to goal in Test 1 was 86%. It was really high, just lacked the volume in terms of turnover ball. Oh, held up! And nearly sprayed. Joe Weston to the rescue, though. Another ball finding Price in the pocket, and from there it's pretty hard to stop, isn't it? She's right on the circle edge. Mate, Jalweni, Vandenberg out of the circle again. All of them sitting up the top here. Britt floating around. I'd love to see her get some depth and then maybe come back.
Yeah, just the placement. It was just too hard of a pass. Just needed to be lifted that slight little bit.
Britt was on there too. There's a lot of maybe tunnel vision towards Vandenberg. Understandably, she was their main scorer on Saturday night. 88% she shot. Up and over, smart pass. Well, that's touch You talk about placement. Aussies do it so well, don't they? Austin runs to set up the screen and then turn off it.
Yeah, great defensive structure on that one. You just saw Visser just playing that split circle beautifully and just coming off and taking whatever was on her side again.
Well, Visser on fire. You're so right, Kim. She's still the one keeping this side in touch. They're only down by 2 in this second quarter, the Proteas. Really about this timing in attack, though, making sure everyone is not running at the same time, and they've got another option for the second phase and the third phase. Briett, got to get in amongst the action.
Oh, no. Yeah, do you know what? It's just the little moments like that. Briett sitting outside the circle on that feed where she should have just gone in a metre and she could have had a shot. Just making it hard for themselves, the Proteas.
And I think what's interesting is they do have some height on the bench here that can play across that wing attack and goal attack position, yet they've stuck with quite a short goal attack and wing attack. I'm not sure it's the right option against this Australian defence line. Potentially we should see a change there soon.
Yeah, I reckon it's coming momentarily. Maseko up in the back of play. And I agree with you. Has to happen. 21 penalties to South Africa as well. Creeping up, Visser. Chawani. Back to Visser. So doing an absolute mountain of work in attack and defence. Agree. Well, Vandenberg's so strong through the middle.
Well, and lucky because both of those mid-quarters right then stuck on the sideline waiting for someone else to do it. Here comes Maseko, wing attack bib on. I think this is a good change. Chawani sitting on 4 turnovers at this stage. Just not good enough for a quarter and a half.
Well, I would have potentially put her into goal attack. And seeing what happened from there. But anyway, it looks like the change will happen regardless. Just over 6 minutes to play in the first half. Briett, the double play, wants a triple. Well, that's the problem with the extra passes, isn't it? Because the Aussies sneak in there, they get a little touch and the pickups come.
Well, and as we've spoken about, these are the rangy defenders that we have. We've got really long arms, they're able to get around bodies really easily. So every time they go back out to anyone like a Joe Weston on the circle edge, there is a fair chance that she's going to get a tip to that.
Well, the margin after the first quarter sat at 7. It's now at 9. What can the Proteas do to stay in touch before the half? Well, that will help. An offensive contact against Cara Conan. Mate now looking desperately for someone to pass to. Can they find Briett Long?
Well, and just look at the Diamonds. They're just moving. There's always someone yellow in front of them. And that right there, that short, sharp little plays down the sideline together is a way to break it.
Well, they have the centre pass to follow here too, South Africa. There's Maseko. Or maybe she's staying off a little longer because they look like they've found a little bit of flow here, the Proteas. Briett. Yeah, that change has got to come.
It's just the unforced errors at the moment, really letting the Proteas down. They get onto a run. We just saw that. They had momentum, and then it's just the little things like a step and, a replay. All of those little things that are just...
16 general play turnovers now for the Proteas. Not even half a game kick. Yeah. I mean, they are up against the world champs. It's always going to be a hard battle.
Well, and they're strong opposition, but it's a step.
Yeah, it's the 1%.
Yeah.
The stuff that shouldn't be happening. Conan. Her 14th from 19 attempts, so missed a couple early. Hasn't had much of an issue since, though. Pressure from Clow. Oh, no.
That's it, yeah.
That's a contact. Sarah Clow didn't get out of the way. I think that one unlucky, and Rolling Stritka knows it.
Well, and the thing that Proteas could do right now is get in their head with the umpires. That's the worst thing that they can do. You know, you saw the bench just there, all put their hand over them. That's when you get up and you start cheering on your teammates. Try and create something.
Yeah, you're spot on. Don't want this to snowball either, do you, mentally? Well, the good thing for them is in 3 minutes, they'll get a break, a chance to readjust, maybe have a chat. Maybe a chat with the umpires will take place at that half-time break to it. If there's anything they want to clarify as Bruce comes flying out. Maybe mistimed it a little. It was a high ball, but she got a decent tip on it. Little slow play.
Great take from Vandenberg. She's been put under all sorts of pressure tonight. Coming out of the circle quite a bit. 2 players on 1.
Well, there you go. Rolene Stritka on the sideline. Didn't play any of Test 1. Not on the court now, but she's the one finding the voice, Kim.
Yeah, and interestingly that we haven't seen her. I know she didn't have the best of tournaments against the Silver Ferns, but you've got to give her another crack. And as we've said, the height in this circle is needed. I'm surprised we haven't seen her earlier.
Goal attack obstruction.
And that's a great little play. The little double plays down one side. They love this sideline.
Oh, well, the idea was right. Miscommunication between Vandenberg and Briett.
This side.
Well, the clock will stop. About 1:41 to play in the opening half, and some serious work to do for the visitors.
Obstruction, goal shooter. Turn left. Yes.
12 in it now, so it has blown out.
Oh, well done, Van Vyk.
Well, that's why she was brought on, but they need now desperately to convert firstly, and then a whole lot more ball back. I'd love to see Briett just attack the post the first time. It's hard work against the world champs. So a tactical change here will be made, and it is Maseko. It took a while to happen, didn't it? We talked about that a while ago. 1:12 before the half. What can she do in that time? The captain takes a seat. Through the hands of Price, a pick up Van Vyk. Maseko, ball in hand, Mate. Briett, double.
Yeah, and just shoot it.
Absolutely got to be shot. Yeah, have a look at the work between these two. And again, isn't that a battle we're going to enjoy watching in Suncorp Super Netball next year? How great that Vandenberg is even standing up to this, 24 years old, not shying away from it.
Well, we've seen lots of these sort of matchups with Bruce, haven't we? You know, Grace Wecky being one, and this will be another one, I suggest, for a very long time.
Vandenberg gets them back to 9. 16 seconds to play here. Watson looks long, finds Austin. Conan, beautifully timed little pop out. Well, it's flat, but it's good. And that will surely be the last shot of the opening half. And there it is, sitting at 32-22. The Australian Diamonds are
also working together in partnerships. That's the way you change this momentum. You have to go and find someone and
style as you go further and
injecting when they need to, but just also limiting the amount of turnovers that they're doing. I would hope that they would have spoken about in that change room about working together, and at the moment you can see they're sitting very wide away from each other on the first phase. 2 over the line, which then gives you 0 deck.
Yeah, Inglebani also on in a goal attack. Well, let's get straight down to the head coach of the Proteas, Jenny Van Dyke. Jenny, thanks for your time. Needless to say, probably been quite the frustrating opening half to you. Those little ones, the 1%ers. What was your message to your team at halftime?
Definitely, I think, just our take on the ball to start off with. Just a little bit soft on the take and not really driving through the ball with aggression. And that in itself has costed us quite a lot of turnovers in that first half of the game. Definitely trying something new now, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of a better result in the second one. You know, a little bit of a disconnect as well at stages.
Jenny, you spoke about that change, Vandenberg off, but you brought on Stritka. We haven't seen her for a while. Please tell us what you're hoping from her out on the court.
Well, look, she's so good with that long bomb, so we're definitely hoping for a few of those. It's just a different style of play. I think, you know, the Aussies has done a great job to analyse and to counter Al Murray on court, so now we need to do something to counter that back. And finally, Rulin on that court is definitely something a little bit different for us. So I'm hoping to see her really perform well.
Well, we hope so too, Jenny. We'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
There you go. That's the best way to get on court, do the job, of course. Spend some time with the Mavericks in 2024. So knows most of these Aussie players out on court. Had some time against them. See what she can do for this second half. Garvin now on at goal shooter. Georgie Horgis into goal attack. Kim, I want to break this down a little. Georgie Horgis, we see the most part playing wing attack for the Thunderbirds. We know the two leadership, Maloney, Watson, play the mid-court. Is this now about seeing who is more versatile to fill those other two mid-court roles?
Well, going into a cycle like a World Cup games that we're coming into, you certainly want versatility within your playing group going into those. So, yes, definitely. However, just because Maloney and Liz Watson are captain, vice-captain, doesn't mean that they're selected automatically in those two positions. So I would suggest that they're looking to see what Horgis can do in this goal attack position, because we certainly know what she can bring at wing attack. And just like that.
Yeah, very similar to an Alice Teague-Neal.
And I also love that they've given her an opportunity to play with Sophie Garvin, different to last game, and she's probably more used to that in the Thunderbirds environment as well, having Romelda behind her there. So it'd be interesting to see what she can do out the front.
Do you know what I'd love to be able to do, guys, is get to the head coach of the Diamonds and ask her. So we'll get straight to Stacey Marinkovic. Stace, plenty of changes made here. We want to talk a little bit about Georgie Horgis in goal attack, because it's not where we normally see her in SSM, but that's twice now you've put her in that position. What are your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, she's been doing really well, to be honest, and that's probably an area we've targeted across this time, just we've had a little few injuries and niggles and things, and, you know, she feeds the circle well, but she's got great speed and she can go to the post, so she's not afraid to do that, and she can play make, so very much like a Steph would, and want to see what she can do.
And Stacey, you looked at that defence and completely different lineup. You went for the rangy talls. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, I thought we got plenty ball. It was nice to get the bigs out there and see what they could do, to put the pressure on and see what we could do in getting the ball up to see, you know, the intercepts that we could create.
And Stace, a really big challenge here in the second half to be able to make sure that you push this through in a way that you want. What was the message to the team at half-time?
Yeah, I thought we were a little complacent with the ball. I thought, you know, we were a little bit lazy, and I think we still have to keep the work rate up. So I'm looking for intent and, you know, the girls to impact defensively, but well, that's a good one. But, you know, in attack is let that ball go, because we've done the work to provide good options.
Well, Stace, we are loving seeing every version of the Australian Diamonds. Good luck for the second half.
Thanks.
The bigs, she called them.
Yeah.
I know that I'd like to be in that category. Know exactly what she means, though. Plenty of height out there and plenty of speed to burn. Georgie Horgis, the highlights reel is building in the green and gold.
Oh, and it's just the smarts to just go and prop on Visser to open up that space. The shortest in the circle, but still was able to have a hold, even though it was a bounce pass.
Just her third test match, Georgie Horgis. Watson, Horgis. Looks for Garvin and waits a little to see what sort of defence comes. That was smart too. But
That's the one thing Hall just does very well. She plays with a lot of time, but she gives people a lot of time to present. And as a shooter, I would suggest that is something that you really want, because you're working really hard to get the defenders off your body, and the worst thing is when a feeder or a goal attack goes and swings it on you.
yeah, agreed. Long ball, Maloney straight into Sophie Garvin. That one almost went out the back door, but they pushed it forward here, up by 13 in the blink of an eye, the Aussies. Have a look at the start to this third quarter, 7-4. They're about to get another one. Oh, this is such a beautiful sight, but also a massive headache for Stacey Marinkovic, isn't it? You make the changes, 2 of them in the attack line, 3 of them in the attack line, and they haven't skipped a beat.
No, and that's what, we saw last game, that they just weren't able to seamlessly continue and on their way. They would have spoken about that, and now they've been able to produce.
5 in a row, in fact, Kim Green, looking at the last 10 there.
Well, on the flip side, I think I'm looking here at Samari Visser, and she spent 30 minutes chasing Kira Austin, and now Georgie Horges has come on with fresh legs. She's going to have to make sure that she finds something extra in the tank to be able to keep up. It might be worthwhile looking at something different out there to combat the fresh legs.
Yeah, this is nightmare coming to fruition. She would have spent most of the year chasing her at Thunderbirds training. Beautiful long cross-court ball. And we often talk about cross-court balls being dangerous, but when it's hard and flat like that, you can't get to it, Kim.
Well, and especially when everyone's done the work on one side to open up the other, it's the perfect opportunity. And that's a beautiful feed. Just well weighted, allowed the defenders to come around and place it beautifully.
Out by 14. Biggest lead of the game in Bendigo was 15. They equal that now, the Diamonds, but this will be the real challenge for them because they'll want to put their foot down. So Tilly Garrett penalised up near the transverse line. It'll be a 2-on-1 inside the circle if South Africa can get themselves there in a timely manner. Or another one out of play.
Yeah, but someone has to be free under the post. That's where the setup needs to happen early. Great shot from Stricker, but the Barney and Stricker not working together. That is where it has all fallen down today.
Yeah, a little miscommunication. Garvin putting the dodge on. And Hall just not picking up which way it was going. Van Vyk, Maseko. Ngubani. Mate, well, how good was that? Every single Protea player used in the build-up.
Well, and using depth, not being afraid to go deep on those ones. Have a crack. Here's the replay. You can just see there's the movement first off from Mate, but then the repeat effort to get depth onto that circle edge.
And Kim, they've won another ball back here. Maseko smart enough to quickly send it back to keep it moving, and again the drive onto the circle.
And it's a great take. Show the umpire that's what's happening. At the moment, gain to goal rate 21% for the Proteas, so certainly some work to be done there.
14 gains too, so they've picked up a stack of ball. The Diamonds, only 12 games. So a lot more ball if they can start to increase that percentage on conversion. Swing to Visser. Van Vyk. Stricker out of the circle, needs a connection, comes through Maseko. Well, now sitting at 13, so the Aussies got it out to equaling their biggest margin, but South Africa not letting them get any further away from that. A little bit of fight shown from them in this third quarter. It sits at 11-8. A real challenge coming from Visser. Outstanding in Test 2. Garvin.
Here's the replay of that drive from Horges. Yeah, a little bit casual for Garvin. Just hoping that that ball got there, and Maloney. And that's why he is a vice captain of this Aussie Diamond
On
side.
full stretch, looked to be the last one to touch the ball, though.
Yeah, bizarre in itself, but that's the kind of drive. And, you know, sometimes you can fake those calls into your own positive little world. And that's the thing that the Diamonds are doing at the moment, is that they're just chasing everything. They're giving everything a crack.
Well, Maloney in absolutely everything too. And this is the matchup that we spoke about pre-game. Maloney on Mate, both playing 50 minutes at centre in the first test. Horges hasn't missed yet. 4 from 4. There's the work from Mate from behind. Diamonds back at that 15-goal margin. Garvin to Horges. Garvin smart. Looks for all money like she was going to go into the back space and then pops in front. 4 minutes on the clock in the third term. One of the Aussies' best. They've won 6 of their past third quarters. Gulbani up the front and then ran into a bit of traffic, so had to offset. Yeah, again.
It's a beautiful play if they're just able to connect that last little pass towards each other. Now it's the body language. Get on defence and earn it back. Just like that.
Yeah, did with beautiful cover. Stritka in front, Maseko standing behind. Van Wyk. Gulbani. Bissa. Maseko. Yeah, Aussies hands in absolutely everywhere, aren't they? Maseko again. Yeah, Stritka, she is really good at the longer shots too. Doesn't want to pop that one up though.
And she just needs to continue to take that hold and yell at the feeders. It's there to be given.
Need some of those all-important rebounds though. The Aussie Diamonds pouncing on them. Steadies on 1 foot, Joe Weston. Garrett to Garvin. Plenty going on around the edges of the circles for both sides. Horges.
Obstruction key for both players.
Horges taking another 5 from 5. The Aussies on the court at the moment haven't missed a shot. Have a look at that, 100% all round. Well, that is the challenge. Brought into the action. Got to play well. Few and far opportunities for Diamonds to impress their head coach.
Oh, and Visser again. Gosh, she's been good today. Just getting her hands in there. Oh, and it's an over a third. Untouched, unlucky. But these are the, again, we've just talked about the unforced errors, and it's those moments. The brain fades, the ability not to mentally keep in the game right now, and all credit to the Diamonds because they've put them under this pressure.
And they're building slowly here. So the Diamonds now sitting at 15. The biggest scoring quarter of this game was the opening one with 18. Still, of course, a minute 24 to play, and have a look at that. That is pretty to look at. Last 5 in a row for the Diamonds. Have done that a few times in this third quarter. Mate. Van Wyk again, the tip coming from Watson, and the pickup.
And the transition, have a look at it. There's at least 2 players from the Diamonds to every ball. It feels like a training run. It feels like captain's run where you're just flowing through the court really easily. And right now, what I would suggest the Proteas do is Smith needs to come out and have a crack at long balls. Go out and see something and have a crack.
Under pressure is Joe Weston. Watson, Horges. Yeah, unlucky there, Smith. I didn't think there was much in that challenge at all. Garvin, though, will take it. Penalties creeping up, sitting at 40 for South Africa. Just 29 for Australia. 17 seconds to play in the third. Long ball, Stritka. Well, it's the story of the game, isn't it? through the hands on what should have been an absolute sitter as the margin blows out to 20, and as the ball scurries away off court, that may well be the last part of the third. It is. Well, the Aussies put the foot down. They got themselves back to that 18 score in the third quarter, but they kept the Proteas to 8. So three-quarter time, 50 to 30 here in Wollongong. Stay with us, the fourth and final quarter coming right up.
Sleeping on this F1 season? You are missing out. McLaren's on top and an Aussie's chasing the crown.
Oscar Piastri.
The championship's closer than ever. Every point's on the line.
Brilliant racing.
And you can catch it all live. Fox Sports.
Aussies love the Sapco Spin Mop. It doesn't just dunk the mop. The spin wheel spins it clean before
third quarter, and then mix it with Sophie Garber, who's got all the experience and most likely to going to be that starting goal shooter for a very long time.
And you're right, because we saw this same lineup with Teague Neal and Hodges the other night, but it was Cara Conan sitting behind them, so something completely different here. But I love it. South Africa also have used all 12 in this second test against Australia.
And how good is that from Teague Neal? First centre pass, just on court, came out, was able to get that ball and turn so quickly. That's why she is just so dominant when she steps onto any netball court.
Maseko, Ingulbani. Well, I mean, it's safe to say, Kim, as Garrett comes up with another ball, that the Proteas won't win this contest. They're down by 21 at the moment, but what will they be looking to do in this final 15 minutes?
It's all about those little mistakes and just changing that, trying to find some sort of momentum in this last quarter to be proud of, working together, continue. They talked about work. Oh my goodness, that's a beautiful play. Hodges just sneaking around the back. But they talked about working as units and trying to create some good plays together. I'm not certain we've seen a whole lot of that today. A couple of beautiful plays through that middle channel on a centre pass, but we haven't seen that since quarter two. So you really need to see a little bit more from them.
I'm happy to tinker with the lineup until they find something that clicks. This one hasn't scored yet in this quarter. Stritka plonking herself in front, demanding the ball. Has it now, will go to the post. Just the one miss for her since entering at halftime. 8 from 9 at 89%. Teague Neal looks long, Smith all over it.
Well, it was a flat drive from Sophie Garben out of the circle, but Smith, that's a perfect one to really set up for herself. She was offline and then just took on the ball.
Well, it's Jamie Lee Price, the smarts to get a hand in there, disrupt. Maloney, Hodges, Garben.
Good swing.
Great screen too from Hodges.
Just the smarts to have a look at it. She went for the screen, it didn't quite work out, so she went and found another body to screen and then open up perfectly.
Still haven't missed this new shooting lineup, Garben and Hodges. And great to see Hodges, you know, with someone like Sophie Garben still putting the shots up, 7 from 7. Gilbani.
Beautiful feed. Lovely little timing from Stritka as well, but you have to nail those.
Got to nail them and then got to try and slow up the green and gold that is flying down court, that has what feels like 5 options every single time they turn.
And that's a great feed. Garben straight away from the moment that Maloney put her foot to that baseline was saying, I want the ball. I think she's really grown in that space, especially in this Diamonds arena, is that she is demanding ball, and I think it's the confidence of just being out there as much as she is.
Well, she is, you'd have to say, the starting goal shooter in this lineup, so great to see now the confidence that's come with that. Quick double play between Maseko and Gulbani is good, gets good depth, swings to Mate.
Offside, bring it time, free pass. Yes, free time, yeah.
And this is a challenge now for South Africa. They would have wanted to come out and start this quarter well to make sure that they build that momentum. So for them, it's making sure that they're really going to work hard to get some score on the board here, so they don't go away after this game even more disappointed than what they're probably feeling.
Yeah, there's a definitely opportunity to feel better about the result, isn't there, Dylan? Walk away encouraged for the third test. It'll be in Adelaide, of course, on Sunday.
Oh, and it's Visser again that comes up with ball. 5 intercepts to her name. You can certainly say that she has put in everything to keep the Proteas somewhat close.
Clow with the contact. Gulbani slow to get the ball, just wants to take a bit of a breather, make sure of this one. Stretka. So Visser just running over to the umpire, asking for a change up, and it'll happen in the goal shooter again. So Elmarie van der Berg back on in at goal shooter. Maybe just a chance to sit there, have a good look at what's happening out there. Chat with the coach. Who's on Georgie Horgis? Is anyone on Georgie Horgis?
Well, we've spoken about Visser having a really good game for the Proteas, but right there, what Horgis did was just make sure that the body of her opponent was just getting taken out. As you can see here, Maloney on the screen, Horgis underneath the post. That's happened 3 times already today.
And then the attack line getting amongst the defence. That was a turnover that can go down next to Sophie Garbin's name. And they want more. Have a look at Nicole Richardson screaming, set this up. They want that defensive pressure starting from the throw-in for the Proteas. Build it early. The cracks come down the court. Sarah Clow.
That's an intercept right there.
Well, there was a call the other night that everyone was up in arms about. Ball should have been Sarah Clow's. Well, absolutely no worries determining whose that was.
That was the perfect intercept. Have a look at this replay, just coming off the body, making it look open. 2 hands front space.
Not letting go either. .25, Georgie Horgis makes it 26. Let's have another look at this classic Clow. Eyes closed, rips it in. Garbin, Horgis. Well, probably should have gone to Horgis in front, tried to lift it to Garbin.
Well, it's the overhead feed from Maloney. Sometimes that can get her into a little bit of trouble. Just too flat.
Gulbani, Niseko, van der Berg, yeah, placement again. Wrong side of the post. Head is down for van der Berg. And she's going to be dealing with this sort of pressure week in, week out. Season 2026, signed with the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Maloney, Price, Teague Neal. Just her second test after debuting in Bendigo on Saturday night. Diamond 194. Gorgeous. The last one to debut before her.
And this is good defence from the Proteas. Unlucky. And you can see just all over Visser's face how hard they worked in that play. But that's the kind of... they need to do that consistently. Doing a box, beautiful setup, changing players, covering so much space.
Ketzer. Gulbani, Niseko, van der Berg up the middle. Niseko.
And a nice feed to finish it off. And it was the little fakes in those that I really loved in that play. It just opened up the space a little bit easier for the Proteas.
Well, I know van der Berg's had some time on the bench, but she sat at 37 from 42. Test 1, only 19 from 22 tonight. So whilst percentage is similar, volume well down. Gorgeous. Has not missed. 11 from 11. Here she is, Elmarie van der Berg. Niseko.
The Diamonds sitting in this box setup, hoping for those long, wide balls. And this is smart. Through the middle, small little passes.
got the ball on a string, the Proteas. Plenty of movement. As you say, Kim just kept it alive with those little ones. Margin, though, 26. After they got themselves to just 11 Test 1, which was their second closest score to the Diamonds. Closest since 2019. Ketzer, home alone. Vandenberg. The good thing and the bad thing for the Proteas, Kim, is the turnaround is quick. They'll play again in Adelaide on Sunday. Not a great deal of time to work on things, but it is great practice for a Com Games, a World Cup. When they play every day, there is very little turnaround time.
Well, and especially when it's such a disappointing loss for them. You heard Jenny Van Dyke just in, the quarter-time breaks talking to them about how disappointing this is, and there's going to be some stern words. You can tell that she's that type of a coach that would go straight between the eyes, and you will not know, whether or not where you stand with her. And I think that's the important piece of this, is that they can turn it around with what she's saying and implement on court.
Well, we just saw Annie Sargent in the crowd, of course, an Australian Diamond selector. Have a look at that score breakdown, though, just on the screen. Proteas have been kept to 5 in this fourth quarter. Their lowest before that was 8 in the third. And Gulbani can't drop it. Nketsa picks up the scraps. Oh, sorry, Maseko. .26 the difference. 4.5 minutes to play in the second test here in the Gong. Garvin also hasn't missed. 20 from 20 since entering the game.
And the service that she has got from Georgie Hodges has been so superb. I've been watching her movement off the ball, and her ability to just read the space and time her play into attack is phenomenal. And her finesse on that feed, perfect.
You're so right. And what I love about Hodges in particular is that what she's doing is just creating different spaces. Same with Alice Teague-Neild. They're just creating different spaces for each other. Right there, they did an overload. But look how deep Hodges is playing. For a little one in that circle, she's almost starting in the circle off second phase.
Yeah, backs herself on her speed, though, and her timing. Love this too. Well, she had all eyes for the post and was happy to shoot it until Garvin freed herself. Sensational shooting. This up. The play it for South Africa, no two ways about it. Gulbani, Maseko. Vandenberg strong in the air. Her 23rd of the game at 88%. Gulbani 2 from 3 at 67. Lacking a bit of opportunity. Sophie Garvin. Oh, they'll play it around here, the Diamonds. Under 3 minutes in the second test. Georgie Hodges getting further away from the post. Still backing herself. Still nailing them.
Here's this box set up from the Diamonds once again, and that's a perfect opportunity for Maloney just to come through.
Look how quickly down in attack, though, too. The transition from the Diamonds from attack to defence to attack has been so good tonight.
The screen that tripped each other over.
The game's okay. Just one in it. That's been the issue, though, for South Africa. Aside from those 1%ers, we talked about general play turnovers, the conversion is not good enough for so much ball won back. That's a big positive to take into the third game.
Yeah, and they've almost looked at every unforced error and they've decided to tick off every single one in this game.
Gulbani doesn't want to go to post, tries to get a little closer, and again, well, it's millimetres, but it might be worth it. Dribbles in. Minute and a half remaining Australia will easily take the victory.
And smart from Horgis, just waited so that there was a one-on-one in the circle.
Well, we've seen this 12 perform, haven't we? Wonder if Stacey Marinkovic will mix it up a little for the third test in Adelaide.
Well, we did think that there would be some changes in this one, so certainly. I know everyone is looking forward to seeing potentially Mundy out there, Austin, Irvin.
Now, I wonder if she's got an idea of what she's going to do, or she's really playing this on the fly and making the decisions as she goes. Thought it may be, as you said, a little preempted per test, but doesn't seem to be. Teague Neal to Horgis. What a great little sentence that is. 24 seconds. Horgis to Teague Neal again, into Garvin. Oh, they use the width of the circle, so patient, waiting for someone to open. There are the Aussies you were talking about, Kim Green. Will they get an opportunity to get the green and gold on? Going to run out of time here, South Africa, are they? 27 the margin, 2 wins from 2 tests for the world champs. The perfect start to their month of internationals, and how great to again see all 12 players on court in this second test. Oh, we questioned whether they would have been happy with the 11-goal win in Test 1. Kim, you said they wouldn't be surely happier with this performance. South Africa, on the other hand, well, it is a very quick turnaround before the third test. What can they do to get this gap back to